عدي عمرو، عدي عمرو.
فين وسام؟ مش في وسام؟ فين يا سامي؟ لو هتنزلي على اللابتوب في فين؟ ناديلي وسام والنبي يا حسين. وسام
بس افتكرش الشواهد
Bonjour, je vous prie de bien vouloir éteindre vos téléphones portables. Professor of Clinical and Chemical Pathology, and on behalf of myself and all my colleagues at the National Research Center, I would like to welcome you all, especially our distinguished and honorable ambassadors and guests from all parts of Europe. Meine Damen und Herren, guten Morgen. Mein Name ist Gloria Sigmund, Professor für klinisch-chemische Pathologie. In meinem Namen und im Namen meiner Kollegen an dem Nationalen Forschungszentrum heiße ich Sie alle herzlich willkommen. Einen besonderen Gruß möchte ich an unsere hochverehrten Botschafter und Gäste aus ganz Europa richten. Ihnen allen wünsche ich eine angenehme Zeit in unserem Nationalen Forschungszentrum. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Je m'appelle Dr Gloria Sigmund, professeure de pathologie clinique et chimique au Centre national égyptien pour la recherche scientifique. Mes collègues et moi vous remercions de votre présence et vous souhaitons, notamment à Monsieur les ambassadeurs et aux invités venant de tous les coins de l'Europe, la bienvenue au centre. The National Research Center is the largest multidisciplinary research and development establishment in Egypt, possessing an impressive scientific and technological infrastructure with overwhelming manpower resources. It encloses a total of 13 divisions and 95 departments, covering the major areas of industry, medicine and health, environment, agriculture, basic sciences, and engineering. Later on today, there will be a site tour of the National Research Center laboratories. Before presenting our speakers and launching into the sessions of today's program, I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Egyptian-European Council on the occasion of their 2nd anniversary. Furthermore, today will commemorate the signing of a cooperation protocol between the Egyptian-European Council and the National Research Center to emphasize and reinforce the Egyptian-European cooperation in science and technology. And now, without further ado, I would like to present our distinguished speakers and begin with His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim Kamel, the President of the Egyptian-European Council.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hani Nazar, Your Excellencies, it is a pleasure to be here at the National Research Center, as I am originally coming from this school of students who love to do research. I started my career as a university professor, so it is always a pleasure to be back to the grounds that make a human being thoughtful and assured of a better future once research is around humanity. So it is really a pleasure to be here at the National Research Center today to join forces with Dr. Hani Nazar and his colleagues in order to put all our contacts and all our coordinated efforts with the different members of the European Union to aid in making sure that our cooperation with Europe is really directed and guided in a good manner. And the best manner possible, in my judgment, is to ensure that we learn as much as we can from our good neighbors, our European friends. They have advanced greatly in many fields of science, and it is about time for Egypt to benefit as much as we can from our new effort in making sure that both Egypt and Europe is becoming closer and closer together. For my European friends, I always say that make sure that your neighbors to the south are as advanced as possible, because this is really good for Europe. And I say to my friends in Egypt that it is really fortunate for all of us that Europe is a friend. And I see here with us several of the European ambassadors, and I see also friends from countries that may become part of Europe very soon. I see here with us also the Russian ambassador. So, in a nutshell, I say once again that I'm really happy to be here today, and I assure Dr. Hani Nazar and the members of the National Research Center that we will do all we can as the Egyptian-European Council, its members, to facilitate and to ensure that all our friendly relations will be made available to the here and to the center in general. I thank you very much for allowing this opportunity to take place, and I look forward to continued cooperation with the center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. And now I have the pleasure to introduce His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Klaus Aberman, Head of the Delegation of the European Commission in Egypt.
Presidents, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have made friends with the Egyptian European Council just 2 or 3 days after my arrival, and since then this has been an exciting first year for me, thanks inter alia to the Egyptian European Council. One of the most interesting, fascinating, inspiring events I had the pleasure to attend in the course of this year coming to an end now was here at the National Research Center, where I had an extraordinary question-answer session. I did not even realize I had to perform. But the questions I got showed a level of knowledge, of curiosity, and of sharing experience, which I found most refreshing, most welcoming, and most encouraging. So I'm not surprised at all that these two partners have found together today and will sign a protocol of cooperation. If it would not be in the agenda today, it would have to be invented, because it's a recipe for being successful. So I'm pleased to attend this session here today, and let me perhaps just say a few words about how important this will be for our cooperation. It is just about a week ago that we had the summit meeting in Barcelona of the leaders of heads of state and government from Europe and from south of the Mediterranean. All partners were represented there. And the media response and the discussion that followed showed that there was a bit of unease because not everything was possible. There were political discussions, political declarations which did not exactly go the way that some people thought they should. And still, and this is my point here, and still there was a very ambitious, a tight, a strong work program which was agreed at that summit meeting. Which will lead partner countries in the next 3 to 5 years to reinforce their cooperation across the full range of policies, political, economic, cultural. All the comprehensive nature of the Barcelona process, as we call it, is present and will be reinforced. And what I have strived in the last couple of weeks here in Cairo, and this afternoon also in Alexandria, is to show that what we are talking about in this partnership is actually happening in Egypt as well as in other countries, but in Egypt every month, every week, be it on political consultations from Rafah to the Middle East peace process, as you know we are a member of the Quartet, be it on economic cooperation, modernization of industry, constructing effective schools, going into financial market reform. All these reform issues we are involved in cooperation with Egyptian authorities, or be it in cultural affairs. And needless to say, science and technology cooperation is center court, because this is the future. This is the instrument, this is the tool for modernization, for creating jobs, for being effective. And therefore, it is a pleasure to see that there is already a strong basis of science and technology cooperation between Europe and Egypt, a long-standing experience. But let me stress here, and this is my main point, let me stress here that we are at a new beginning, or that we are in a defining moment where we have tools now which can allow us to be much more ambitious and to find much more common ground for doing research and developing technology together. There are 3 basic instruments here which come to my mind. First of all, as you are aware, we had the signing of the new science and technology agreement with Egypt, which took place earlier this year. It It was no accident, no surprise for me at least, that the European Commissioner for Science and Technology came to Egypt for this very reason, and this is the framework which will allow us to push ahead science cooperation much better than we have done before. There will be ministerial level political dialogue, there will be networking among contact points in the region and in Europe. It is not just shuffling papers, it is on action, and the program as it will emerge, and we will sit and define a work program very early next year, will allow us to tap the benefits of what is our main tool of cooperation, which is the framework program. The framework program, the 6th framework program, Science and Technology, which is open now to Egypt in full, because the idea also behind our neighborhood policy is to have partner countries, privileged partner countries. It's in our interest as well, so we are privileging ourselves too, is to share all of our programs with our partner countries. Now, the existing framework program has 17.5 billion euros going into research. We have areas such as life science, genomics and biotechnology for health, for example, which is a key element. Over 2,000 billion over 2 billion of the euro are devoted to this. Information society technologies, nanotechnologies, you have all this already available for access. We go through tender proceedings, and we will early next year have a special function science counselor within our mission here in Cairo, which will help to inform, which will help with the sometimes rather complicated ways to proceed, but the potential of tapping the research framework program is enormous. The intention is, you may be aware of it, to top the financial envelope of the framework program up substantially, fourfold, even fivefold, but we have to see, it suffices to read the newspapers, what European heads of state and government do about the medium-term financial perspectives, as we call it, because this is the key element of the financial perspectives coming ahead. The point remains that the potential is enormous, there are more possibilities coming up, and that we will have the possibility of helping this process here in the country much better than we have done before. Then there is, and this is the second element I would like to briefly refer to, we have a program up and running now, 11 million euro, defining and focusing the potential for cooperation for Egypt alone. In this context, we have had experts over here, and we would like to see Egypt to join much more into sectors of cooperation beyond the traditional cooperation policy issues, sectoral issues such as ICT, such as biotechnology, such as nanotechnology, etc. So we are here on a good track. But there is one final point I would like to make, and which I find very well represented in the work as I had the privilege to hear in this very room a couple of months ago. And that is the direct link the NRC has with industry, has with business. Because far too many designs, far too many inventions, far too many innovations still remain in the drawers of science establishments, unless there is hand-in-hand cooperation with business. The take-up by business is crucial. The financing part of business is obviously key also to being successful. In Europe, the current share of private funds is considered too small, 56% on average in the EU, compared to 63% in the US and 75% even in Japan. If you look at the Financial Times yesterday, there was a long article about science spending in Europe. We also have to go a long way. But I think there are certain similarities. Maybe that some of the designs and innovations remain in the drawers without being fully exploited in Egypt as well. Maybe that the funding by industry of science and technology merits to be pushed further to push ahead economic and social reform. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fascinating topic. I could go on for hours here, but I won't. What I would like to from the Egyptian European Council and the NRC is a very promising cooperation, which will help us in the interest not only of those present here, but in the interest also of economic and social reform in your country, and it will be beneficial to the European side, obviously, as well. And here, if I look at my colleagues ambassadors, I don't just talk about the European Union, because if there is one thing which is so special in research, it is that research does not know borders, and scientists play worldwide on the web, and all countries, all institutions will benefit from such cooperation. Thank you very much for your attention, and best of success to this cooperation.
Thank you, sir. And now, it's a great honor for me to present to you the President of the National Research Center, His Excellency, Professor Dr. Hani Nazr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Ibrahim Kamil, President of the Egyptian European Council, my friend, Ambassador Dr. Klaus Eberlin, Head of Delegation of the European Commission, dear friend, Ambassador Dr. Ihab Surur, Ambassadors of the European countries. Dear colleagues, I would like first to express my sincere congratulations to the occasion of the second anniversary of the Egyptian European Council. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all in the premises of the NRC, the major multidisciplinary research center in Egypt, devoted to basic and applied research. Our center, which will celebrate its 50th anniversary next year, was established as an independent public organization in 1956, funded by the government to conduct research contributing to national welfare. Most of its organizational research departments were created to correspond to the country's key production and service sectors, particularly in industry, agriculture, public health, and other sectors of national economy. Since then, NRC has passed through three evolutionary stages, namely basic research, staff development, and capacity building, then growing interaction with the production and service sectors, and recently emphasizing oriented research activities to serve the specific needs of end users. NRC, through its 13 research divisions, including 104 departments, now utilizes impressive scientific and technological infrastructure and manpower resources to concentrate on the process of technology transfer. Again, NRC has 70 service units having special financial and management system, the activities which serve the production and service sectors. Based on the aforementioned facilities, NRC has a program, training, and capabilities development unit which organizes an annual program of training courses in various scientific and technological areas and at different levels, aiming at transferring specially tailored experience to those working in sectors of industry, production, and service in Egypt, Arab world, and African continent. The NRC management strategy is aiming to conduct research in different fields of science and advanced technologies to serve the national economy, to train university graduates and young researchers in various scientific disciplines, to provide service and scientific consultations, to strengthen scientific linkages and cooperation with local and international organizations. Speaking about NRC European relations, many scientific protocols were signed with numerous research centers and universities, in addition to scientific projects and agreements with many European countries, as for example, Germany, Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, Finland, United Kingdom, Spain, Portugal, Sweden, Austria, France, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, NATO, and European Commission. Hereby, I'm proud to mention that NRC has been selected by the COMSATs as being one of 5 centers of excellence from the member countries, and by the NEPAD in 2005 as a host for the interim hub for centers of excellence in biosciences for the North African countries. Again, NRC has got the Islamic Bank Prize for the year 2005 as being the institute that realized scientific achievements and prominent technical development of the country. The main reason for choosing NRC in all those events is that it provides a conducive environment for high quality research of international standard by having the critical mass of infrastructure, equipment, services, and support technicians. Our eminent guests, Egypt and the European Union, have signed an agreement to strengthen scientific and technological cooperation. This means an access for Egypt's research institutes to the EU's large research programs on the same basis as Europeans. The agreement includes funding for Egyptian bodies participating in many research projects, more opportunities to meet and collaborate with European scientists, companies, and research bodies at all sorts of levels, the opportunity to bring Europeans into research activities in Egypt, joint collaboration between Egypt and EU in the development of research priorities, sharing the benefits of the latest innovation techniques and know-how with Europe. NRC, being involved in research and innovations, is looking forward to benefit from the agreement as a new opportunity for cooperation. We believe that we are eligible to participate in the EU framework research programs. We hope to gain funding for research, training, and innovation activities along with Europeans by new perspective for a new partnership. Today, by signing the protocol of cooperation between the Center and the Egyptian European Council, we look forward that the Council will make effective the aforementioned agreement and ensure a developing cooperation in science and technology by targeting a number of areas as making available adequate information and expertise in Egypt to help Egyptians work with Europeans in research activities, assisting NRC capacity building to support innovation, enabling Egyptians and Europeans to make contact, participate in scientific events, and build cooperation, enhancing NRC opportunities to ensure the sustainability of EU cooperation in science and technology. Finally, I would like to welcome you all once more in the NRC, hoping that all the attendants get the best of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hayne. And now we proceed to the signing of the cooperation protocol between the National Research Center, represented by its president, Professor Dr. Hani Nazif, and the Egyptian European Council, also represented by its president, Dr. Ibrahim Kamil.
سيد تعال
Our next speaker will be Professor Dr. Osama Shabrawi, the Vice President for Research at the National Research Center, who will give us an in-depth and captivating presentation on the National Research Center.
We are here, as you have already heard, since 1956. We occupy more than 12 buildings, with 10 research buildings, 2 administration buildings, 10 storerooms, animal house, greenhouse, 5 experimental stations, and a big research farm, 350 buildings. We are the major multidisciplinary R&D institute in Egypt. We are devoted for basic and applied research. We are affiliated to the Ministry of Scientific Research, and we form more than 70% of scientists working in the Ministry of Scientific Research, and we are correspond to the country key production and service sector, as our President has said. Our mission is to conduct basic and applied research in different fields of science and technology, trying hardly to strengthen our national economy. Our objectives is providing services and consultation, training, upgrading science and dissemination of knowledge, and strengthen scientific linkage and cooperation with local and international organizations. All of these aim to guide our national economy. This is our manpower, more than 3,700 research staff, helped by 2,000 administrative staff. The structure of the organization lies in the board of the directors, the president, the 2 vice presidents, heads of the 13 research divisions, and we have included 5 experienced members selected on basis of their personal merits, covering the economical, financial, political area. Most of them are very powerful people. They helped us a lot in being inside and outside. This is the 13 divisions of the NRC. We grouped it into 4 groups concerning health and environment, human genetics, genomics, medical science, environmental science, the industrial research covered by the food, pharmaceuticals, textile, engineering, organic and inorganic chemistry, and mineral resources, the agricultural biology, veterinary research, agricultural and biological research, finally the basic science, the physics and genetic engineering and biotechnology. Our main job is doing research, R&D, through a system known as the projects. It's customer-oriented and covers these areas and sectors. And according to their financial sources, they are either in 3 forms: the in-house projects, the local, or the international ones. In-house projects, it's governmental budget. The government covers this budget, and it's contract between the NRC administration and the researchers inside the NRC. It's usually 3 years plan. We are now running the 7th one, and it's 13 divisions projects. The local ones, contracts between the NRC members and the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, or contracts between the members of the NRC with any of the production and service sectors. The international projects covered by the bilateral agreements either between Egypt and other countries or between NRC and other scientific organizations. This is some examples of our international relations: the Egyptian-United States Science and Technology Transfer Program and the Egyptian and European projects. Our current strategy lies in 3 main points: consistent, persistent interaction with the production of the service sector. And we focus a lot on this area. We are not forgetting the basic science researches, and we are trying to strengthen our international relation to be a good support for number 1 and number 2. For this strategy to be applied, we have implemented certain points. We decentralized the administration. The 13 divisions in the NRC running their own financial and their own scientific business nearly completely. We have introduced in every lab in the NRC the internet and an intranet. We have established the monitoring and evaluation office, which continuously monitor and evaluate what's going on in the NRC with the feedback to the source of the knowledge. And we have started these 4 years for renovation of our infrastructure, and we upgrading our labs and equipment. We have made a system, divided this upgrading on a departmental level, which covers the need in each of the departments, on division level, which covers a higher need in the division level, and finally, central one, which covers both inside the NRC level and needs, and also share in the outside providing service to the industrial and the service sectors. We have established new departments and divisions and upgrade our training and capacity building center. The President had mentioned it. How we interact with the industry. I have already heard His Excellency Ambassador Klaus. He said that most of our researches are inside our doors. Through this, we have established the Businessmen and Investors Office. This is the key link between what's going inside the NRC. Those guys bring what's inside the discs and put it in front of everybody who would like to need it, and we will see how this office shared in our income and shared in our relations, especially with the industry and the service sector. We have also included key investors. I have mentioned 6 or 5 of them in the board of directors. Also, we have included businessmen in the different divisions according to their specialities. They revise everything with the divisions, and they follow up, transfer the problems from outside to the inside, and try to share them the future plans. We have established the R&D Council, which contains eminent professors from the NRC, previous heads of the NRC and directors. We have established the special service units, which allows us to have outside income by offering these services. Also, we have organized a good number of workshops, symposium, conferences, and we increase the number of field visits and studies. This slide is a little bit new for us. We have made a lot of exhibitions for our scientific products, considering that scientific research is a product. We have established this exhibition, and during holding this exhibition, everybody at the NRC have reached to a certain level of prototype, a certain level of research work. He knows that he might be useful to be applied. We offer it, and we invite everybody to visit us and to take it with very low costs, starting by free offering the things and ending by sharing by the income after establishing of the application. We have invented, and this is a good idea, that everybody who would like to have his PhDs, they have to spend 4 to 6 months in the area corresponding to his specialty, so as to pick up 1 or 2 of the problems in the area and come back. These problems will be the title of his PhD thesis. Once he got it, he goes back to the factory or the service area and provides them with results. We have established and strengthened the Central Unit for Analysis and Scientific Researches because this unit offers a lot of service to the industry and the service sectors. This is the list of contracts in different sectors. These are the sectors covered by real money and contracts. The industrial, agriculture, pharmaceutical materials, testing, renewable energy, environment, and defense. And here it comes, the number of signed contracts starting from 2002 up to 2005. This is a real money contract. We have reached up to 24, and this is the most recent signed protocol with the Federation of Egyptian Industries, with the Federation of Egyptian Chamber of Commerce, Union of the Economic Development Societies, and lastly, Port-Said Industrial Development Society. And from all of this, you can find that we are stressing our relation with those guys. We have established a committee of research and development and technology transfer between the Federation, which contains 14 chambers, and with the NRC, with the 16 divisions. This committee provides scientific, technical, consultation, training, and testing to the Federation members. And this is a way how to pull out what you already have and how we get what's there in the industry and the problems of the industry. And the service unit, it's a special type of service. We have more than 70 covering most of the sectors. And this is the income of the special service unit. We have reached up to 6 million Egyptian pounds in 2005. Some of the equipments serving all of what I have already said in the NRC. This is a very updated type of equipment which allows us to offer all of these services to everybody. Here comes our main problem, our fundraising. This is a list of our fundraising 2004 up to 2005. This is the results of a struggle of more than 4 years. And we are gathering part of it this year. First, from our international projects, more than 15 million Egyptian pounds, local up to 7, service units 5.5, training 4.4, contracts 1.5 million, international prize 100,000 US dollar. And as a result of the effort done, this is the first time for a governmental organization to be reinforced by the government by more than 16 million Egyptian pounds. This is the first time for us to happen like this. As a result of the 4-year struggle to have this, as a result of spending all of our money and having more by all of this fundraising, we have been reinforced by more than 17 million pounds. We haven't forgot the basic science research, and this is the idea of the head of this institute, the way to Nobel projects. The aim is to support basic science leading to national and international prizes. Candidates, PhD holders from international universities in different areas, we gather those guys in a very good area. We try to facilitate everything can be offered for them, to have them an advanced equipment, labs and facilities aiming to collect these and never forget the basic science, because there is no line between the basic science and the applied one. Here it comes a very important area. Once we have the researchers on the lab level, to contact the industry, they do need it on the industrial or semi-industrial level. This need is very important. Through this point, we have established many units, planet unit, which offer the semi-industrial facilities. This is the biotechnology planet unit, and you will see it, inshallah, in your tour in the NRC. They are tackling these areas, and they never forget the training. This is some equipments in the planet, biotechnology planet unit. It's a very advanced one. And here also, due to our international relation, we have got a Chinese grant, more than 2.5 million Egyptian pounds, in a pilot planet, and it's very updated, equipped, and it transfers a very, very important research items from the bench scale to the semi-industrial and sometimes to the industrial scales. And this is some of the equipments available and facilities: filtration, dryer, absorption, reactors, distillation. Another area is the mass production of algae. My dear colleague, Professor Mohammed, will talk about it. This is one of the production unit, and it covers the algae. We can have natural pigments, glycerol, proteins, active substances, fertilizers, and this is how we produce in the mass production of algae. Also, this is the foliar fertilizer production. This is a way of nourishing plants through the leaves, and this is a unit prepare this micronutrient. Our international relation is gathered through an office, the International Relation Office. We haven't forgot our African continent, and also the European, and Ambassador Klaus visited us last time, and we have already established this before his visit, not after his visit to the NRC. Here is our European, NRC European relation, and we'll go through it quickly. First of all, this is most of the European countries we are related to. On top lies Germany, England, Italy, and comes the other countries after that. And here is the size of our relation between 2003 2005, our scientific cooperation in total. Here it comes Europe, 80 projects and scientific cooperation. Other countries as a total, 76. Europe forms 51% of our external relation, and the others covers 49. I think this means something. Our current collaboration projects, I will go through it with Germany through our president have already mentioned it, Poland, Hungary, Austria, Czech Republic, Portugal, Ukraine. I'm honored to say that we have got our records from 2003 up to 2005. This is the list of the 13 division. The international publication come on top. Our textile and organic chemistry division and inorganic chemistry. And here it comes the international publication. And also, we are a member. We have submitted the patents, more than 113 patents. We are a member affiliated, the scientific society affiliated to the NRC, more than 13. And the scientific periodicals, we cover more than 7 scientific international periodicals. Here it comes the submitted patents through the year 2003 up to 2004. And I would like to mention that before that, we have gathered only 20 submitted patents. 20, starting from the early beginning of the NRC up to 2003. Through this, we have made 3 initiatives. This is one of our initiatives, the NRC, pushing our young student and our colleague here to submit patent before publication. because it's covered a lot of their rights. And we have reached 28, 2003, 31, 2004. We are now more than 54 submitted patents. This is our international application. Professor Nasser has mentioned, we have been chosen Center of Excellency, and we are the Dream Regional on Bioscience of North Africa. We have been awarded by 2 awards, and this is the national. We have gathered a lot of the national appreciation. 2005, the 2 Mubarak prizes, 2 state, 1 superiority, 1 state prize, and the 20 NRC. Through this, we have gathered more than 30% of the national awards in 2005, and we are covering more than 80% of the money allocated for this prize. Here it comes nearly my last slide. How we look for our relation with Europe. How we imagine, how we can strengthen. This is our vision. We must make more collaborative research projects. We must increase the exchange research staff. We must increase the training of junior researchers and scholarship. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I was able to be honest in showing our National Research Center. And we hope by this, our partner in Europe, our friend, our closest friend, must share us this by pushing the relation with the NRC and by increasing the facilities offered. Thank you very much. And I hope
Thank you very much, Dr. Osama, for your outstanding presentation. Next, I would like to present Professor Dr. Hussein Gamal, member of the Egyptian European Council.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستاذ الدكتور هاني ناظر, Chairman of the National Research Council, His Excellency Ambassador Klaus Ebermann, Director and Mission Head of the European Union, Dr. Kam has left us, but I'd like to address him with our gratitude for chairing the European Council. I must say I don't enjoy the privilege of having a long history like what I heard about the National Research Council, but the European Council is a young institution aiming at the enhancement and support and becoming catalytic in the enhancement of the relationship between the European Union and the government of Egypt. And from this point of view, or from this mandate, we feel that the protocol signed today represents an important milestone in the role that the EEC can support the cooperation between the two sides. The membership of the EEC consists of a large number of prominent professionals, scientists, economists, ambassadors, of course, and businessmen. And we feel that the FP6 mentioned by His Excellency the Ambassador has thematic components which make the role of the EEC really important and beneficial to the enhancement of the cooperation between the two sides. I say this because we know that there is an important part in that cooperation that requires and requests and aims at the development of the private sector research and development. And the outlook everywhere is that without a vibrant R&D in the private sector and private industry, the real strength of the country in science and technology is not completed. So I think there is an important role for us as EEC to play in completing the partnership between the private sector and the National Research Council by encouraging and identifying the areas of support in the private sector scientific and development community. For example, there's an important area which Egypt is very much keen on in order to generate jobs and respond to threats of unemployment, and that is the small and medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises figure very highly, again, in the FP6 as relates to many areas. Energy, as relates to the medical side, as relates to the engineering side, and biotechnology. And I think that the establishment of innovation centers and entrepreneurship centers and appropriate technologies for SMEs would be an important area for the NRC to look at in cooperation with the EEC, European Egyptian Council. I say this because I remember during my days of managing the Social Fund for Development, as early as 1993 and 94, we signed and financed technology incubators in the Mubarak scientific city in Alexandria, and it is still in place. And I personally, as a believer that SMEs cannot operate only by availing finance. Access to technology, access to human resource development is a very essential and an important prerequisite for the growth and the success of small and medium enterprises. In addition, CIT, Communication and Information Technology, is a very important area for SMEs to become effective in and achieve its roles in adequate job creation. That is an area which I feel that the protocol signed today could bring about, could enhance, and could make a contribution to the implementation of the science and technology agreement between the two countries. Again, I emphasize the need for the private sector R&D to become active in doing or performing some of the requirements for research and development and science and technology advancement in Egypt. In addition, of course, the twinning between European institutions and Egyptian science and technology institutions. We heard about the twinning between the two countries in the area of governmental institutions, business, but not in the area of scientific research, science and technology. And I think twinning between a number of lead institutions like the Max Planck Institute in Germany or similar Marie Curie in France, similar institutions would really help us in making a leap forward in the advancement of science and technology. So all in all, I don't want to bore you with my ideas, but I think that there is a real breakthrough that can take place if the protocol is implemented in a good spirit and in an active and forceful way. I would like to thank you very much for your attention and look forward to meeting you all in the coming endeavors in the way of implementing this protocol. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now some of our scientists at the National Research Center will briefly discuss their scientific collaborative experiences with the European side.
Well, Your Excellency, the President of the National Research Center, Your Excellencies, the Vice Presidents, Your Excellencies, our guests from different European nations. It's going to be a little bit hard for me actually to adapt and to get acquainted with such a presentation because of the fact that I'm a scientist by training and have never presented some work in front of diplomatic delegation. So I tried my best actually to make it sort of a mixture between science to deliver the message the way I would love to deliver it, and on the other hand I tried to make some difference in the way of presentation in such a way not to make it boring for our guests. As you may see from the first slide of my presentation, what I'm talking about is I'm giving an example for an ongoing consistent collaboration with an EU nation. I'm talking particularly about my previous experience with collaboration with German partners. I am here honored to be working as a part of the Department of Therapeutic and Chemistry, and I'm also honored to supervise the Central Laboratory of the Division of Pharmaceutical Industries and Drug Research. Well, the history of interaction with European nations actually is very long. I am working on a disease so-called schistosomiasis or bilharziosis. If you see here, around 200 million are infected with that disease, and if you look at the map here, the shaded parts of different maps from different parts in the world, from different continents, show the prevalence of the disease in different countries, including African countries, Latin American countries. And this guy here, Theodor Bilharz, was German citizen, came to Egypt to discover the life cycle. This is the time where he worked actively on discovering the life cycle of this disease. The consequences of this disease, as you may see here, this enlarged abdominal cavity is due to the enlarged spleen and liver, which we call hepatosplenomegaly. And the problem actually of this disease is that simply we have co-infections with different viruses, including HIV or acquired immune deficiency syndrome virus, that may increase the susceptibility of individuals to get infected with this particular parasitic disease. On the other hand, we have hepatitis C infection that may also increase the complications that are resulting from this disease. So simply, I started my collaboration with Germany by awarding a PhD scholarship from the German Academic Exchange Service. And this is the time that I spent in Germany. I spent a time between 1998 and 2001 to do my PhD work in Heidelberg University. And the area where I was working actually is using new advances of biotechnology to develop diagnostics for early detection of this infection, or to develop vaccines against this parasitic disease. I was really delighted to hear from His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Klaus Ebermann 3 times in his presentation the word genomics, the word biotechnology as one of the highly recommended points for collaboration, which is very encouraging for us as a new generation of juniors. This is simply the European network that I was participating in. All of them came from different European nations, and they were concerned with control of the disease. Well, many of them came from Germany, some of them came from United Kingdom, and some of them came from France and the Czech Republic. We did not stop our activities at the laboratory level. So we did not spend all our time in the lab, rather than going outside in the field to look at the level of the extension of the problem as a health problem. So the European Union, in collaboration with the German Academic Exchange Service, supported actually our field trips to go to China. And here is a network where we find Africa as a component, and China as a component from the Asian continent, and we find me as Egyptian junior participating to tackle the same parasitic problem in China, and this was one of our field trips in Wuhan in 2000, in China, in Hubei province. Well, we did not stop at this level, and I have to admit, and I have to say in front of our delegation, one of the major parts is science, of course, to tackle health problems or to solve scientific problems, but the cultural issue is very essential to enhance collaboration between scientists. So we should not forget about cultural dialogues. And here we went to Oman as Arab nation, and this was also an interaction between African scientists. You may see some Indian scientists, several European blonde guys, and you have a Chinese guy, and here you have me. Sorry, I was a little bit young. Well, as an Egyptian interactor in this network, where we tried for the first time to report on schistosomiasis infection in Oman. Actually, our meeting did not stop at science. As I said, we opened a lot of dialogues to better understand cultures. This did not stop at field visits, conducting research for getting a PhD, rather than participating in international symposia. One of them was the British Society of Parasitology in Warwick. The other was in Oxford, and we had the meeting in Wuhan in Hubei province in China, and the last one we had it in Oman in 2002. We did not stop our activity at this level, rather than we invited also at the National Research Center in the years 2003 and 2005 some of our collaborators from Europe to participate in the first and the second international conferences of the Division of Pharmaceutical Industries and Drug Research. And some of our guests may start to recognize the building of the National Research Center. So we did not stop our communication at the European level, rather than we have had some of the guests here also. I myself have profited a lot from this networking by being invited as a guest scientist 2 times to Heidelberg University, 2002, 2003, and 2004, 2005. Well, the output, the result of this collaboration was 15 international publications in peer-reviewed journals at international levels. They are all available if any of our guests is interested to look at them. I'm coming to the very last slide of my presentation, and this is from my particular point of view, how we better enhance the collaboration between the EU and Egypt, or generally the third world countries. I'd love to see more money allocated for junior research grants. The research grants are mainly allocated for big networks, whatever. We had, starting from the Abyssinian system, the 5th framework and the 6th framework, We had always a lot of luck for this tenure scientist, for the senior scientist. We never had a lot of money allocated for tenure grants. We have to include a lot of neglected diseases. And when I say neglected diseases, I mean diseases that are endemic in the third world and developing countries and not highly endemic in Europe. And I'm giving example, the hepatitis C, tuberculosis, the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and of course my interest schistosomiasis in co-infection with any of these particular disease. We have to support annual meetings, getting together, cultural exchange that would better allow understanding and collaboration. And at the end, I was also delighted to hear the word marriage from His Excellency Dr. Klaus Eppermann. However, I have to comment on it. Marriage may restrict freedom by having only one single relation. In our case of networking, we need to extend our relations to be free to have more collaborations. Thank you so much.
Institutes, Tunis, France, Spain, and Egypt. The objective is to develop novel oxidative catalytic technologies for the advanced treatment and stabilization of olive meal wastewater to allow its safe use for irrigation. The output of this project, it will introduce new and more efficient adaptive technologies of wastewater treatment in the Mediterranean countries. Project's output, we noticed that we increased awareness and dissemination of basic and acquired knowledge among wastewater sector professionals in participating countries, specifically in Egypt, by organization of courses, workshops, publication of technical reports and scientific publications, exchange of research findings and existing knowledge among the counterpart institutes. We have good collaboration between South and North and South institutes, staff development, new professionals have awarded their PhD degree. We have also from other countries, we have from Holland and students who have been working in their master and PhD under mutual supervision. We improved the laboratories here by having new equipment. Proposed areas for future cooperation. If we consider the economic situation in Mediterranean and Middle East countries, it has become apparent that it may not be possible to provide sewerage facilities for all residents of rural and peri-urban areas in the near future. So the focus of the field of wastewater management should change from the construction and management of conventional high-energy consuming systems to the construction and management of low-cost, decentralized wastewater treatment facilities. And if we take into consideration the more arid climate zone of the Mediterranean, increasing demands are being made on fresh water supplies. So it is clear that decentralized systems will increase the opportunities for localized reclamation and use. In general, wastes can and must be transformed from a disposal-based linear system to a recovery-based closed-loop system that promotes the conservation of water and nutrient resources and contributes to the public health. It is worth mentioning that both the knowledge and the technology that can enable this transformation to exist. There is, however, a gap between current availability of innovative technology and promotion financing of demonstration-level projects as well. The development of complementary socio-economic methodologies to facilitate their implementation in most of Mediterranean countries. It is therefore necessary to anticipate and promote better integrated water strategies and management policies, taking into consideration the ecological zoning, and not the administrative ones. Encourage sustainable water demand management within the framework of integrated water policy. Alleviate water scarcity through mobilization of non-conventional water resources, such as use of treated wastewater, improve sanitation and sewage services in rural and peri-urban areas. Before concluding, I would like to emphasize the importance of partnership and cooperation with European countries as a mechanism to achieve the goal of the water sector in Mediterranean countries. Thank you very much.
After that, we will visit the biotechnology unit and the electron microscopic unit, and one of the biotechnology most newly devices used in biotechnological research. If anybody have
affects the pacemaker of the heart. So anybody have a pacemaker?
No. I doesn't have it.
Okay. This is the electromagnetic resonance, which detects every chemical element. Can detect the hydrogen, the carbons, the beryllium, which we need to add on some accessories. We intended to bring a liquid chromatography and a solid probe and a small imaging unit to help the projects in this facility. We have pharmaceutical companies make some investigation with us, the drug research and the pharmaceutical companies, drug research
works and help to manifestate electric rectifier companies, petroleum research sciences, drug discovery, drug design research institute.
And 20 and 14 liters. The 80 liter and the 20 liters are in situ sterilization. The 14 liter is ex situ sterilization. We have all the utilities for this fermentation. We have steam generator, 1 ton per hour. We have quite a cooperation with them. Sometimes we do the samples they need for the field. Sometimes we have some problems in their process, so we can solve it for them. And also for all the
عاوزين نفكر في حكايه الجريبس دي.
Thank you very much.